Oh, I heard some sad news today. I'm very upset. I mean, it it's just sad. I mean, it's her choice, but it's still sad. So, anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books. No special effects going on here. Please hit the like and subscribe. I have lost about 4 subscribers this week. Every time I get a gain of 5 or more, I lose 6 or 7. This week I had a gain of 4, I think, and I lost 5. So I always end the week below where I started the week. I do not know why. Please check out Flashback Mondays. We're talking about Romantic Times book review magazine. That magazine is still valid today. All the books are still out there. You can still find new authors in it. It's excellent. Star Trek Fridays, and if then also Friday afternoons. If you like this author, then maybe you'll like this one. So today we are talking about James Patterson's 16th Seduction. And seduction really hasn't anything to do with it. But anyways. My notes here. I'm upset. We will do Catherine Coulter's FBI series. It's down the line this year. And I was planning on hopefully doing the series lead up to the new one that's coming out. And then I hear Catherine has posted she's not going to do any more Sherlock and Savick books. I was like, what? Why? Huh? It's like when Charlene Harris decided to end Sookie Stackhouse. That was just disastrous. Kim Harrison decided to end Rachel, but she gave it a few years. Her other things flopped, and she's back with Rachel. Yes! Yes! So maybe in a year or two she'll get a Sherlock and Savick thing, but she's going off with the other side. I think it's the British side. I'm not sure. I haven't finished yet. But anyways, we're talking about Seduction 16, and I have there's just no seduction in this. So I have no idea what the hell's going on with that. But I'm a little peeved at Patterson for putting us through this shit. Stick to the mystery, please. I'm over this character angst. It's just unnecessary. It's totally unnecessary. Apparently, and I didn't realize, it's been 6 months between this book and 15 in book time. That's what the author states, or the characters state, that when Joe chose to serve the country first over his family, Lindsay kicked him out. And I think it's hypocritical because every time Lindsay gets a phone call from Jacoby or Brady or Conklin, she goes. And I had this big rant last time that family should come first. And they should. Birthdays, parties, special events, graduations, commencements, communion, all that stuff. If it's an important event, you must family first. If someone is ill, family first. There are situations where family must come first. So Lindsay breaks up with Joe because he's putting country first, because he's former Homeland Security. He's not that anymore, but she does put the cop stuff first too sometimes. But and there was that one situation way back in the beginning with the kid was sick, and Joe kept telling her to go to work, so she worked through that. But that was, he was there and he told her to go, and I guess that was okay. But when he puts country, it's so hypocritical. But anyways, Lindsay is a sergeant detective with the San Francisco Police Department, and I have a little personal issues with the fact that if she gets promoted to lieutenant, she won't be able to go out in the field, whereas my Eve Dallas with JD Robb is allowed to go out in the field as a lieutenant, investigate. And Lindsay doesn't want to get promoted to lieutenant because then she won't be able to go out in the field, whereas Dallas doesn't want to be promoted to captain because captain doesn't go out in the field as much. So, a little conflicting there. Joe is her husband, like I was previously stating, and they start this book trying to reconcile. They're having an anniversary dinner, and Claire is the medical examiner. Conklin is her partner, and we have issues with him. And Brady and Jacoby. Cindy's the newspaper reporter. She has some issues here. She brings up some good points. Yuki is the lawyer. We have some character progression in this book too, which I appreciated. So, like I said, Joe and Lindsay are having a 1-year anniversary dinner, and the Citron, it's just probably a museum or something, or an event place, blows up, and they run across to help, and this guy comes out and confesses that he did it, and it was beautiful, and it was amazing, and he just loved every second of it. So he confesses to Joe and Lindsay. So Lindsay arrests him. And then Joe goes in the building and he helps this lady. And I forgot to look this up again. But we never hear it again. Well, we hear it when he wakes up, but we never hear it again. We never find out if there's a resolution. So it's like one of those plot lines that's just immediately dropped. And that's kind of annoying. But anyways, so the bomb goes off. This guy is taking credit for it. He admits he did it. And Joe runs in the building to try and help people. Again, country first. But he is a first responder, sort of, kind of. But he should have waited till the firemen got there and shit to do it appropriately. Unless, you could go in safely. And apparently you couldn't, because he goes in and stuff falls on him. And he ends up broken legs and a head injury and a whole bunch of other stuff. But apparently there's been this terrorism group that's been blowing up stuff. So they're attributing this bomb to the terrorist group, and they do take credit for it, which takes a little heat off the Connor guy that confessed in the beginning. And also, another little side pet peeve is that Joe's two brothers show up to see him in the hospital. We never see them on stage. One of my authors says that if it happens on the page, it's called on stage. If you're told about it, oh, this happened the other day, then that's off stage. And the brothers remain off stage almost completely. You don't see them or hear them or nothing. So it's just to give Lindsay a reason not to be at the hospital with Joe. He has to have brain surgery twice to release the swelling and stuff. So this Connor guy, confesses, and then the next day he takes it back, and they end up pursuing it and going to trial, and it just because they don't have really hard evidence. He hid it really well, and he decides to become his own attorney, and the court case goes 6 ways to Sunday. There is also Yuki had left the ADA, character spoiler alert here, and she returns to the city, gets her job back. Parisi asked her to come back. Sometimes if you leave a good job, and wouldn't you like it if your boss called you and say, hey, would you be welcome to come back with a little bit of a raise? Wouldn't that be nice? Isn't that a fantasy some people have, that if you go in to a supervisor and say you found a better job or something, and they offer you a raise or incentive to stay? Is that a fantasy? Does anybody really ever have that happen, that the boss turns around and gives a counter offer? I think that's all fantasy. The other day, um, there's a conflict going on, and this lady wanted to apply for a promotion, and her supervisor prevented her from applying. The supervisor had the authority to prevent the person from applying for the superior position. And the person heads a few committees, and she said, well, then I'm going to quit these committees, because she was in charge of those committees. And the supervisor goes, well, you can put that in writing, I'd appreciate it. Not, I'm sorry, not, is there something I can do to make it better? No, just totally. And then the person says, well, I'm thinking of seeking another job in another company. And instead of that fantasy of, what can I do to make you stay? Why are you so unhappy? Again, they said, if I can get that in writing, I'd appreciate it. And don't let the doors hit you on the way out. So it's just horrible. So so we have this Joe and Lindsay trying to get back together, but of course he spends over 90% of it in the hospital. Yuki gets her job back. A lot of the book is the trial of this guy Connor, who convinces the jury that he's innocent, that he didn't do it. And there is also this person who, what do they call it? I didn't write it down. I forget what Cindy calls it. This person is going around, just walking around town, killing people. Anybody that looks good just stabs them with this stuff, and we don't find that out till much, much later in the book, and is killing about 8 or 9 or 10 people throughout the book. And the circumstances, you don't get to meet that killer until much later in the book, when the identity is revealed. But so we have quite a few different stories going on here. Joe's in the hospital and injured, and Yuki going back to court, and Connor Grant bomb trial, and the killing, the silent, I forget what Cindy called it, but randomly killing people with this drug that causes paralysis and causes your heart to stop. So that's kind of scary that it can be done so easily. So it's just, I had a lot of issues. I'm over the character. Stop breaking Joe and Lindsay up. I'm just over the character angst. Can we stick to the mystery? Can we stick to the solving the crimes? Can we get past the character angst? At this point, I'm over the character angst. And I'm still kind of upset about the Catherine Coulter news too. So if you can check out Flashback Mondays and Star Trek Fridays and my new If Then series, and we're heading to 23, and I don't know if you know this or not, but there are 2 book 23s. So we'll be getting there, and we'll be starting a couple of new series. I've been trying all different kinds of new series. I tried the Hilliard and the Danvers, and a few others, and the Carmack, they just were not working. So I'm trying to find the alternate, series to get started before we start one of the other. Alex Cross is some of those early books are hard to get a hold of, and most of them are ebooks. Don't you hate that? All right, an ebook is good if you're traveling, but otherwise, I want a book. I want to be able to hold up a book and go, look, this is what I'm talking about, this book here. If you're traveling on vacation, you don't want to carry 20 or 30 books. I used to. When I used to go on vacation, I would take 10 or 15 books with me. Seriously, absolutely, hand to God. And the Kindle came out after I stopped going on vacations. But up until that point, I would take about the largest books I could find with me. I am also gonna do. I might start Beatrice Small. I'm not sure yet. But anyways, so please hit like and subscribe, and have a good day. Thank you.